Welcome to InBox. I'm Cassandra Bauer.
I'm Caroline Wu. Today we have an awesome show for you all. We will take you to some cool places nested within the Bay Area.
You will see a house like no other, with a submarine bathroom, a pencil staircase, and so much more.
What, a pencil staircase?
It's crazy, huh? We also have a place that has over 300 model trains for all ages.
But first up, we will take you into the office of a woman who fools Mother Nature.
Mary Kate Gardner is a 25-year-old woman that suffers from alopecia, a disorder that makes her hair fall out.
I was diagnosed with alopecia about 1.5 years ago, and it was just on my head. I started freaking out.
Her condition left her completely hairless.
I was just going crazy, and it was just too noticeable, and I was getting asked on the daily if I had cancer.
After several incidents of being mistaken for a cancer survivor, Mary Kate turned to cosmetic tattooist Athena Carsant for a tattoo that would improve her looks and that would raise her self-esteem.
Can you take my head? Let me take your head.
Prior to her procedures, Mary Kate used to think cosmetic tattooing was superficial.
But now that I've had this life-changing experience, it's opened up my eyes.
She had the most incredible head of hair ever. It was far more beautiful than the wig that she wears. I was heartbroken when she called me that it was a medical reason and it wasn't just for makeup.
Yeah.
She's young, she's dating, and the fear of, meeting a nice young man or going dancing, it helps give her some of her confidence back.
Because for many people, feeling their best starts off by actually looking their best.
And when you look your best, I think you really perform better. I know I do.
But people have given cosmetic tattooing a bad reputation, mainly because of the publicity of bad cosmetic surgeries.
I think there's still a lot of people that don't know what you're talking about, or they have seen some bad work.
Tattooing had a bad rap all these years. It's a taboo. In many circles, it still is.
Fortunately, cosmetic tattooists like Athena take their art very seriously.
How do you see this as a craft, or do you see this as an art or masterpieces even?
I think of myself as Picasso at cosmetic tattooing. Cosmetic tattooing is an ancient art, but it's also still a new frontier. It's art coupled with science. It's the perfect marriage.
In Mary Kate's case, cosmetic tattooing might even lead to finding that special someone.
I feel confident again.
And she's not alone. Bobby Guger is a burn victim who had grease spilled all over her body at the age of 9. She went through numerous plastic surgeries to repair the majority of her facial features, which left her slightly disfigured. Plastic surgeons succeeded at reconstructing most of her face.
They just look like somebody's messy eyebrows. They're not normal. They weren't normal. They needed to be filled in. They grew in all different directions. My plastic surgeon suggested if you really want to enhance your brows, go to a tattoo specialist. It'll help shape them a lot better.
While Bobby is an extremely confident person, cosmetic tattooing helped her gain a little more fearlessness when it comes to the dating scene. She's now looking forward to finding someone new.
It just helped when I had a new relationship. I looked better without makeup. Find a new boyfriend so I can take my makeup off and my clothes.
We are constantly surrounded by images of beauty. Magazines define that standard. Cosmetic tattooing gives people those new stories to share.
Ann Henderson raved to us about the tattoo job that gave her more color and fullness on her lips. Soon after the procedure was done, she went to a boutique where the manager feared she would get lipstick on all the clothing.
He was very upset with me, and he said, if you get lipstick on those shirts, you're going to buy them. He said, and I took the shirt, I held it up like that, and I went, like that and rubbed it on my lips, and then I held it up, and it was as clean as could be. I thought the poor dear was going to have a stroke. He wound up saying, how did you do that? And could my wife get those lips?
That incident happened over 2 years ago and still gives her a little bit of a chuckle.
I have literally no color in my lips. I was putting on lipstick 10 times a day, and none of it stays on. I don't care what they say. We just live too long. I think that's the problem.
At least that's Arthina Kerson's theory. As men and women age, prominent features start to fade. Lotions and other concoctions exist for those searching for this fountain of youth. But for the bold and willing enough to spend the thousands of dollars the procedures can cost, cosmetic tattooing is now becoming a highly viable option.
I realized that it's more than just superficial. It is sometimes what people need.
I want to be kissed by you, just you, and nobody else but you. I want to be loved by you, a boodly-doo-doo-doo-doo, boop-boop-be-doo.
Wow, that was amazing. I never knew cosmetic tattoos affected people like that.
I know, right? Well, we'll see you guys after the break.
Look at all these trains.
This is very cool.
This is fantastic.
The Walnut Creek Model Railroad Society does one thing for their members and visitors. They make them feel like children again.
Caroline, we are in the middle of a show. What are you doing?
Playing with a train. I love trains.
Well, if you love trains so much, there's a society in Walnut Creek that our reporter Evgenia checked out. Take a look.
Look at all these trains.
This is very cool.
This is fantastic.
The Walnut Creek Model Railroad Society does one thing for their members and visitors. They make them feel like children again.
My parents bought my brother a Lionel train set, and he played with it once, and then I took it over. It just was a fascination.
Robert Ferguson started coming here when he was 6 years old. Today he is still here, showing them, cleaning them, even crawling under them. It's been a love affair ever since.
Now that would be considered a long train.
He met his wife Darlene here. It is not just a marriage, but a merger.
It's a good marriage because I model Southern Pacific and she models Western Pacific.
I was a single mom and my son liked trains. If he wanted to come down, I had to come too. And that's how I met Fergie.
Fergie is the nickname Darlene calls Robert. Members' names are significant in the society. They're on the buildings around the track. Members come from all walks of life. Ted Moreland is a retired computer programmer.
What brings us together is a love of railroad, wanting to be involved in a hobby.
And when the model train enthusiasts get together, what do? They travel by train.
This last time we caught the Starlight, rode that to San Jose, we get on Caltrain, ride that up the peninsula to San Francisco. So we rode the streetcars and the cable cars, went to the cable car museum, whole day of it.
You do not have to know too much about trains to join.
Best thing that a new person in this hobby could do is find an experienced model railroader and let them tutor them.
I didn't really know all that much. I knew I liked trains, and I knew a little bit about modeling, but not all that. So I started to learn when I came down here.
And according to Ted, a member since 1975, It doesn't take long to learn the basics.
We could have somebody out running a train from a mainline cab within a few minutes. It's 2 pins that you're plugging. We have the big board. That is a schematic of the layout. It shows the division into the sections of track that we call blocks. You have no idea where your train is, but you don't have to because you don't follow the train. You have to learn to look at the big board.
The layout is called the Diablo Valley lines. It consists of the 2 sections on the main line.
The mountain district, which is the trackage going up over the hill, and then what we call the valley district, which is actually around the bottom of the layout.
There are freight and passenger yards, industrial district, and other areas that make the railroad stations complete. A lot of attention is paid to little details. A bridge, a small town, a dog barking at a cat. Everything looks so real here. Members who drive the trains are known as cabs.
We have up to 10 mainline cabs, so we can have 10 separate trains running on the main line, depending on how many cabs we have filled.
But the real magic happens behind the scenes.
Behind me here, this is the detection system. When a train is in a block, that fires one of these, which is a mercury relay, and that turns on the light out on the big board.
To visitors like me, it sounds so complicated, but for the members here,
It is a work of art.
visitors do not only go for the trains, they want to see the night scene. The thunder and lighting. The sunrise. Visitors come from around the world.
This is like a second home.
Anna and her son have been going to the society's shows for 4.5 years.
Any idea of trains in general? Very fun, clean, good family entertainment.
It certainly is.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they usually have a show open for the public once a month. For more information, visit www.wcmrs.org. See you after the break.
You will find a meditation closet, an underwater bathroom, and a staircase built out of pencils. Yes, pencils. Each door hides something you never imagined before.
Secret raindrop room. And the secret what?
And this is not a museum.
There's an old expression, you can't judge a book by its cover. Well, our last story is just as true about houses.
You never know what lies behind the front door. Yasmin went knocking.
This house is unlike any you have ever seen before. It is a magic kingdom, an empire of art. It features rooms like the Opium Den. Postcards cover an entire floor. You will find a meditation closet, an underwater bathroom, and a staircase built out of pencils. Yes, pencils. Each door hides something you never imagined before.
Secret raindrop room. And the secret what?
And this is not a museum. But the more I discovered,
These pictures with the crazy eyes here?
I kept asking myself,
A little more disturbing than at first.
who lives here?
Hi, welcome to Granny's Empire of Art. Come on in.
This house is home for Jana Davis, who is known as Jana B.
It's difficult when people say, so what do you do? I say, how do I tell them what I do.
When she was in her late 20s, Jana's so-called fairy godmother encouraged her to buy not just one, but 2 freestanding houses in San Francisco's Potrero neighborhood.
I wanted to have a creative household where people were making things and collaborating and having shows and having an art space, a shared collaborative art home. And she kicked my butt until I bought the house. It looks like a spacecraft.
And as former art student, she couldn't resist to start the mutations immediately.
How long did it take that you got crazy and couldn't stand the blank walls anymore?
Well, the second I had the signed document that I owned the house, I pretty much flung the doors open and sent all my friends in as soon as possible.
More than a dozen artists participated in this free-for-all, room-by-room renovation.
There are things.
Oh, yeah.
We would work on things before we had any idea what we were even doing, let alone have a name for it. Everything was just happening as it happened. We didn't have any plans.
The front house, built in 1914, serves now as a collaborative art space. And to get to the back, you must pass through this tunnel full of old posters.
This is the 1896 cottage.
Inside the cottage, you will find a real hidden treasure. Jason Messier's Pennsylvania. It is a 3-story stairwell completely covered in pencils.
Jason spent 5 years working on these pencils.
5 years?
Yes, and so by the time he got to the top, he got a little more sparkly and fancy with it all. Not just yellow pencils anymore.
Also, erasers, pens, and other assorted office supplies make up this masterpiece.
Did you know from the beginning that it will end up so crazy?
We had no idea what was going to happen. No idea at all.
11 billion pencils. Billion. This is enough to go around the world 50 times. Some even memorialized Jana pictures in a 1990s musical, where she played the role of Granny.
There was a scene where the bad girls beat up this little old lady, and Granny was in the show every night where she'd come on stage.
Darcy Drollinger directed the musical, but never worked on the house. However, he has his favorite sweet spot.
The bathroom. I mean, the rooms were all great. The bathroom is crazy.
And this is an understatement. It is amazing. It is astounding. It's like entering an underwater world. Curved mosaic walls, a yellow bathtub featuring the Beatles, and hanging from the ceiling, a submarine periscope. Boop, 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 boop. Showing dreamy surfer videos from the 60s.
It gets internet access as well.
And there is no end to the fun in here.
It's totally unusual. I've never had a job anything like working at Jana's house.
Christine Shields is one of 5 artists who spent years working on this bathroom.
Things that reminded me of Jana and Granny's. I don't remember all of whose ideas were whose, but I really wanted to do these sea creatures. Mm-hmm. So the sort of more realistic sea creatures in there, like the sea turtle, the octopus, that's sort of more my influence on the room.
And those sea creatures not only found their way into the bathroom, but also into the internet.
Apparently, thousands, if not millions of people have seen my bathroom online at this point, which I think is a very strange thing if I think about it. Who wants their bathroom all over the internet?
Despite her global fame, some neighbors have never been inside. And that makes them very curious.
A group from another neighborhood came to visit the house, and all of a sudden I saw that one of my neighbors had jumped into the crowd. She wanted to see it too.
And who can blame her? A real San Francisco treasure, which has taken 17 years of remodeling. And it's an ongoing process.
I do have a little bit of beige-phobia, I guess. If there's a blank space, if there's something that isn't as fancy as it could be, I just wonder why. Why isn't it fancy?
Jana B's home is not open to the public, But she does offer rare invitations to visit.
She calls those her golden tickets, and the only way to get one is to apply on her website, janab.com. We'll be right back after the break.
Stay with us. Thanks for watching our show.
On this episode, we learned that cosmetic tattoo is more than just beauty.
Building model trains is more fascinating than many people think.
And don't forget to check out the house next door. You never know what you might find there.
See you next time.
Bye.